Hey guys, and welcome to the video. So, if you often feel guilty after overeating, then this video is for you. And so in this video, I'm going to be going over what guilt is and the mistakes people make when they are dealing with guilt. And also at the end of the video, I'm going to be giving you the chance to join my new Facebook group for emotional eating. This group is just for women, and I'm going to be posting live trainings in this group every week to help you with your emotional eating and weight loss struggles. So let's get into the video. So first of all, what is guilt? So guilt is basically a signal that you or someone else have violated your values around something. So it's a signal to your body to make you feel bad that something has gone wrong, something is conflicting with your values. And so basically the behavior you are carrying out is not acceptable to yourself. And with emotional eating, this often happens. So when you eat something that maybe you plan to eat, but then you kind of have some more and you feel like you've broken your promise to yourself, and you feel bad about it, you feel guilty because you've gone against your values. You didn't really want to do that, but there was some compulsion, some craving, some urge to have some more, and you kind of went with it, and then you think, oh, I've broken my promise to myself, I feel really bad, I feel guilty, why did I do that? And that's the feeling of guilt. Now, what you do with guilt is very important. So with most people, when they feel guilty, they either sit with it and just feel the negative feeling, or they try and get rid of it by justifying it. So a common thing to do is to speak to a friend and say, oh, I've just eaten all this cake, because you know your friend will say something like, oh, it's okay, you've been doing really good, it's fine, don't worry. And that kind of makes you feel better about the action and you don't feel so bad about it. But you're kind of using a sneaky way to kind of get rid of the guilt, and you're not learning anything from it by doing that. Because ask yourself, by doing that, have you learned anything from it? Is it going to still happen the next time? And the answer is going to be yes, of course, because you've not actually changed anything. So it's very important to think about guilt in that way. So guilt is just the signal that you have violated your values, and you need to take some kind of action to change something so next time it doesn't happen. So you can ask yourself something like, what feedback do I get from feeling this guilt? What values did I break? Did I actually break my values? Did I do something wrong? What happened? And thinking about actually what led up to that decision about eating more or whatever happened in that circumstance. Sometimes guilt is there because of impossible rules and standards that you place upon yourself. So if you have rules that say, I cannot eat anything that is bad, cannot eat chocolate, for example, then you go and eat some chocolate and you feel guilty about it. Is that guilt actually reasonable? Probably not, because you created this false kind of standard that is your rule, or someone else's rule that's opposed on you. But is it actually reasonable? No. Giving yourself feedback about something like that is very important, and having less rigid rules can help with guilt in that way. And so in this case, it could just be the fact that you need to update your rules to something more reasonable around your food, so having less constraints, and that can often get rid of the guilt. However, in some circumstances, maybe you do violate your values, maybe you do break your promises to yourself. So let's say you have a packet of biscuits and you eat a couple of them, and then you go back and end up eating the whole thing, and you feel guilty. So you feel guilty because you've gone against your promises to yourself of how many you would have had. And then you can actually get feedback from this and ask yourself, well, what can I use from this guilt? What action can I use what can I do to change my behaviors? The guilt is the signal, and what can I actually now implement for that not to happen again? And so you can ask yourself, what happened? What led up to it? What made me do this? And I get it as well. Like sometimes you just don't know what has led to you carrying out these behaviors. And it's just because you are not trained to analyze these things. So this is something I do with my clients. I teach my clients how to analyze situations to get feedback and then subsequently change their behaviors the next time. And like I said, obviously it's difficult to do this in a video. So what I'd like to do is invite you to join my free Facebook group for women, where I post weekly live trainings on emotional eating and how to lose weight sustainably for good. So if you would like to join that group, feel free to click on the link in the description down there below, and I will accept you in as soon as possible. So as a summary, guilt is just a signal. Don't try and get rid of the guilt. Take action on that guilt. Give yourself feedback over what happened. And very importantly, don't spend your time wallowing in the guilt, but focus on what you actually want. So getting rid of that guilt helps you move forward once you got the feedback and actually focus on what you are trying to achieve, which is super, super important, because feeling any kind of negative emotion is going to take you off your goal, take you off your focus towards your goal, and it doesn't help at all, right? So that is it for today, guys. So like as always, subscribe if you haven't already, comment down below. Do you feel guilty when eating certain foods? Do you overeat and feel guilty? Do you eat a certain thing then feel guilty? Do you eat at night and end up feeling guilty? Any kind of guilt around food, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to know. And again, the group that I mentioned, that is there to join if you would like. And I will see you in the next video.